Now, the next section that we have here is for the deal of the week. For today's deal of the week here, we're going to be reviewing some properties that were sold in one of the Michigan County sales for Saginaw. So this is a sale that actually took place on September 14th. We're going to be looking at a few of the deals from that sale because there were some excellent property deals that came out of this auction. So we're going to look at just little portions here of these, and we're going to actually go and look at each one of these properties because they include everything from functional gas stations to I think commercial properties here, some homes, lots of homes.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and jump online and go check them out.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do.
And this was an auction that took place last month, an online auction through the Michigan auctions. Michigan has their auctions, and they take place usually between the kind of the month of September into the early part of October. So really in around about 45 days, all of the counties within Michigan will go ahead and conduct their auctions. And what we're doing here is looking at one of the past sales.
All right, let's get this pulled over here. All right, and what we're doing here is we're going to look at the past auction results. We're going to go here for the most recent year, and then we're going to scroll down here because this is one that happened, and it's actually right. Scroll down a little further here because it's right before the end here. Oh, and there we go. All right, so this was the results here of the Saginaw sale, and we're going to look at a number of different properties here that sold. So the first one that we are going to look at actually is a functioning gas station here that sold. So let's pull this up.
Well, and to be honest, we're not 100% sure if this was a good deal or not. At the price, it seems like it was quite a bit of money, but really from this particular property, it's not really even a matter of how much the land is valued. It's a matter of how much income it brings. This is an income producing property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like it was still functioning, up to the time here, the photo was taken. So yeah, it is an income producing property. It sold for $290,000, so it didn't sell for a cheap amount. But yeah, like Steve said, it's really all about how much income it produces. It has an SCV that would put it at about 170,000 or so would be the assessed value, but that doesn't really tell us what the market really is on it.
Well, and in some markets, a starter home may be $290,000.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to buy a rental property within your area, and let's say it costs $200,000 or $300,000 to do it, that rental property may bring between $1,000 to $2,000 in rental income.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but probably right in around that range. This property is probably going to bring 3 or 4 times that amount in rental income. So, dollar per dollar, there was a lot that was spent on here, and we don't know enough about this market, enough about commercial property to say, what the potential value is with this. With residential, sometimes the commercial land, we can put a better estimate. Even an office building, we can do a better estimate. Something like this is not really within our wheelhouse, but it is an interesting deal. And the potential is huge. I mean, you could automatically just rent it to the person that's doing it now, or you could, take it on yourself. It really gives a lot of potential.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the other properties we have here that sold. Okay, so we have, let's see the numbers here. 8127. Let's pull up that one here first. 8127 is another really interesting commercial property here that sold. So this property sold for $95,000. The opening minimum bid on it was $45,000. So it sold for about double that amount, but it has an SCV which, again, that's the Michigan assessed value, and you have to multiply it by 2 to figure out what the value is, of 262,000. So that would put the estimated market or assessed value on the property about 500 and
40?
yeah, roughly 522.
Oh yeah, 422.
Or 524,000 roughly. We're terrible at math here. But yeah, let's take a few looks at the images here, because that's another great thing about the Michigan sales is that they're required by law to take images, to basically put a sign in front of the property and take images of that. And so when they take images of properties, they take way more, and they're current images. That's the other nice thing about it, is we're not looking at old images, we're looking at current images. That included a few images there of the roof. Place their roof was tore up a bit, but this is a relatively newer office building. We can see an overhead image of it right here.
Well, and they were highlighting the damage there, which really is limited. Looked like a 3 or 4 foot piece of area. We're talking about a potential property here that has warehouse space, has probably office space, many different type of uses, and really probably a value. Let's say it is worth. I probably think it's worth more than the assessed value shows it is. So if they say it's worth 500 and just over 500,000, I would imagine based on the size of the property that it's probably worth quite a bit more than that.
15,000 square feet.
Yeah, so you're talking about a massive property.
Yeah, 15,000 square feet. So yeah, awesome property. Very cool. And it was purchased for 95,000. That could very well be like a tenth of value. This property could actually have. This property could be worth a lot of money.
I mean, even if we're just looking at the assessed value, you're looking at 20 cents on the dollar.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Base cost new of upper floors, 1.1 million.
Yeah. That's kind of where it was in my head.
Yeah. So that's like 1.2 million basically was kind of like the replacement cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, to recreate this would cost you $1.2 million, and it was picked up for 95,000. Whoa, that's crazy to think. Somebody basically, we'll see what they sell it for, but they made $1 million with this purchase.
Yeah, well, as we go through and see some of these deals that we weren't a part of, or our students weren't a part of, it's like, I wish one of our students or we would have got that, because that's a great deal.
Yeah, that really is impressive. All right, let's look at a few others here. Let's see. 8110, and some of these are just smaller lots, that were purchased, and again, relatively small investments, but just go to show that you don't necessarily have to invest tons of big money in order to do really well, like this lot here. 1.7 acres. This is a commercial piece of property here. That was purchased for $5,000, $5,700. Has an SEV of 10,700, so that would be like 22,000 would be the SEV on it. So probably valued at roughly, close to 30,000.
Yeah, great deal. Picked up for, if we're looking at the assessed value, 25 cents on the dollar, probably picked up more around 10 cents on the dollar. Has size, has value, and we're not talking about a huge amount of money here. This was picked up for under $6,000. A credible amount of profit, and the type of property where it's probably going to make sense. It's kind of right there on the verge. Would look a little bit more to the market, but it very well could make sense to take it through quiet title and get a clear title on it, get a warranty deed so we can sell it for top dollar.
Yeah, this is another property that was purchased for a pretty low price there, for $3,300.
Yeah, 1.34 acres. This is more vacant land. You can see it's a home lot. Right next to it, there's a home as well. Would probably be selling as residential, but picked up for $3,000, probably worth, picked up for around 10, 15 cents on the dollar. Say it's probably worth around, 25 or 30 grand.
Yeah, another good example. There were also some nice little homes that sold for really inexpensive prices. In fact, some of the prices were surprising just how low they were in value. So the next two we have here are actually these two homes right here. So this home right here sold for $7,400. This home right here sold for $8,100. And both are good usable properties here, you know, that have some value to them, but also are going to have some rent value to them. You know, so we have this property here, which sold for $7,400. It has an SEV of 14,000, which basically means an assessed value of about 28 to 30,000, we would say here on the property. And really where this property has a lot of value there is in its potential to be rented, you know, to be a rentable property.
Yeah, really, that's where the property, like Shade says, has value. In fact, why don't we go ahead and look at this property and look at its check it out on Google and check out the Zillow value as well.
All right, let's see here. I think it's listed right there.
I can't remember if it was this property or the next property, but it seems like one of them has photos and some information on Zillow that I can't remember exactly what it was.
You know, so the estimated value on this property is 47,000. Again, it was purchased for 7,000. You know, so you know, but also important there is it has a rent estimate of about $800 a month. You know, so these properties are probably going to be renting out $800 to $1,000 a month. You know, you're talking about something that somebody paid $7,000 for, and even if you fixed it up and put some money into it, put $10,000 into fixing it up, you're still going to have a rentable property that's going to be going up in value.
Yeah, we can also see it's 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 936 square feet. That's a great home to get started as a first-time, you know, a first-time investor. We're not talking about a massive property. We're talking about a limited amount of square feet, limited amount of rehab. And if we look at that $800 a month, you know, and they spent let's say $8,000, it's going to pay itself off fairly quickly. You know, within a year, it's going to pay for itself. And even if we put in an additional 5 to 10 grand in getting the property cleaned up, you know, that's a property that can bring in residual income and pay for itself within a year or two.
Yeah, this is another really nice property. This one sold for $8,000. It has an SEV right around the same area here. You know, there's parts of the house certainly that need work, but again, you didn't pay very much for it. It's been used until just, you know, until just recently.
Yeah, in fact, that part that was a damage was actually an attached garage. But I think this property, I think this one may have had some interior photos, but there was something, I remember what it was. It was the you can see in the original photo here online that there's been a new roof put on it since the photo was taken.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you can see here, you know, they had tarps up over that, and then when you look at the new images there on the property, they have, it is a new roof.
Yeah, so you know, we know that even when these photos were taken, there's been a new roof put on the property. And then also, if we look, we can see some interior photos as well, which at least
They put the value at, oh, I guess they don't tell us the value here on it.
No, I think it's probably around the same, you know, probably in the 50 to 60 $1,000 range.
Yeah. Yeah, so really all of those are some great deals and good examples of properties, you know, that came out of this auction.
Well, and having that new roof, I mean, we know that roof had to have been put on within the last 3 or 4 years. So usually that's going to be the biggest expense on one of these small homes is if you've got to redo the roof. I mean, the very low, that could be 6 or 8 grand. It could be, you know, more than that if the home is larger than that. So having that new roof, that at least lets us know that that's been taken care of and that there hasn't been any water damage while the property's been sitting vacant.
Yeah. Yeah. All in all, though, those are lots of interesting properties to have reviewed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting sell, a lot of good properties. And there's a lot more that we could go over. We just kind of went through a few of them. There's, you know, good deals being had every single week across the country. It's just a matter of registering and finding those auctions, participating in them. And really that's kind of where part of tax sale support comes in to help is because we provide list and training to be able to help you know about what upcoming auctions are taking place.
Yeah. So now